Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first elementary grade. Our textbook is Weekend 1 and today inshallah we will cover Unit 3, Feelings and Things, Phonics Practice number 1 that can be seen on page 30. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Fawaz Al-Agil. So let's begin. Quick revision in our last lesson. In the previous phonics lessons, what we learned is that sometimes we come across words that may have similar sounds like B and P. And what is important for us is that when we listen or when we say these different words, it is important that we pronounce them correctly. And why? Because sometimes if we have the wrong sound or the wrong pronunciation, we may change the meaning. So let's now remind ourselves of these letters. So the first two letters we did practice are the letter the letter B with words like bear, and also the letter P with words like pear. And we say that it is important when we pronounce these two words that we put focus on the beginning of these words, because if we pronounce them the same, maybe the listener will get confused. When we said bear, here we mean an animal, and when we use pear, here we mean a fruit. So it is important that we can differentiate between them. The same goes here for F and V. So with F and V, they have almost similar sound. But when we use the words that starts with either V or F, it is important that we pay attention to them. For example, if we talk about van, which is a car, it's different than a fan, which is an appliance. So here are two important or two different words that we need to focus or pay attention to its sounds. So now let's remind ourselves of the last exercise that we did here in the previous lesson on page 25. What we did is that we said you need to listen to the sound and to put the check mark. And how you do this is by listening to all of these sounds from 1 to number 8, and then you need to put a check mark and to tell us what exactly the sound that you listen to. We match the sound with the letter. So here we have this letter has the sound of B, and this letter has the sound of P. The same goes here. This letter has the sound of V, and this letter has the sound of F. So these are different practices that we need to pay attention to when we listen to these words. So now let's begin by listening to the first word, and then we put a check mark in front of each of these words. Number 1, the word is ball. Ball. So what do you think? Ball. What is the letter that we can match it with the first sound of the word ball? Ball. What do you think? It is, of course, the first sound or the first letter. So here we go and we put a check mark. Here we go and we put a check mark on the letter B. Ball. Now let's listen to the second sound. The second sound or the second word is puppet. Puppet. So what do you think? Puppet, or the sound of puppet, it starts with a letter. What do you think that letter is that this word begins with? Is it B or P? It's, of course, starts with P. Puppet. So here we put a check mark. Puppet in front of letter P. Now let's move on to number 3. The third sound or the third word with number 3 is vase. Vase. And so what do you think? The word vase. So the first sound of this word, does it starts with V or F? It of course starts with V. So here we put a check mark. And let's listen to the last sound, number 4 in this slide, which is face. Face. So what do you think? The word face. Does it starts with V or F? It of course starts with F. So here we put a check mark in for this sound. So here you go. These are our answers for the first 4 words and sounds. Now we have 4 more sounds to listen to. And just a quick reminder, we said that sometimes, not only with letters, but even with 2 letters, we may have similar sounds. Like, for example, the letters S and H and C and H. They have similar sound, sha and cha. Sha, cha. And the same goes here. With these 2 letters, we have the and the. The, the. So it is important that not only we recognize these sounds, not only we practice them, but also it is important that we memorize words with these sounds. This will help us to know the differences between these sounds. If they have sometimes different letters, S and H and C and H, and sometimes they may have similar or the same letters like T and H. So now let's listen to the 5th sound. Here we have. The 5th sound is ship. Ship. So what do you think? Ship. Does it start with the first sound, sha, or the second sound, cha? What do you think? It starts, of course, with the first sound, sha. So here we put a check mark. What about number 6? The number 6 or the 6th word is cheese. Cheese. So what do you think? The word cheese. Does it starts with sha or cha? Cheese. It of course starts with the second sound, which is cha. Cheese. Number 7. Here we have, pay attention, as we did learn in our book on page 24, that we said with this letter, we have 2 sounds. The first sound starts with the, and the second sound starts with the, okay? So let's listen now to the 7th word. The 7th word is this. This. So what do you think? Does this starts with the or the? It starts, of course, with the. So here we put a check mark for the first sound. Now, what about number 8? Let's listen to the last word we have. The last word we have is 3. 3. So what do you think? The word 3. Does it starts with the first sound, the, or the second sound, the? It, of course, starts with the second sound, the. So here you go. These are how we answered. We did listen. We did match the letters to the different sounds. And the last thing we did last time is that try here to focus on your listening. As you know, you have on each of these, on each number, here you have 3 words. Just listen to the word and circle the word you hear to. And then later on your books, you can match each word to the pictures. So now let's listen to number 1. The first word we have with number 1 is tab. tab. So what do you think? The word tab. Is it the first, the second, or the third? It is, of course, the first one. So here we go, and we circle the word tab. Number 2. The word is vase. Vase. So what do you think? Vase, is it the first, the second, or the third? It is, of course, the second one. So here we go, we circle the second one. What about number 3? Ring. Ring. So what do you think? Ring here is the second one. So here we go, we circle the second one. And how about number 4? Pine. Pine. Pine is the second one as well. So here we go, we circle the second one. Now let us move on to number 5. The word with number 5 is cube. Cube. So here we circle the word cube. And number 6, cute. Cute. Here we also circle the word cute. And finally, number 7, the word is robe. Robe. So here we circle the first one, robe. Very well. So this is how we answered these exercises from our last lesson. Now, let's get to know our objective in today's lesson. At the end of our lesson today, we hope that you will be able to practice words with A, E, I, and IE. And to do this, I would like you please to open your books on page 30. I would like you please to open your books on page 30. Now on page 30, here we're going to listen to different words with A, E, and IE that has long vowels, long sounds, as we have learned last time. So for example, sometimes when we have only the words that has the sound of A, we pronounce it as tap, tap. But if we added E to the word, then it will be pronounced like tape, tape. So here, because we have only A, we have short vowel. We have short sound. We say tap, tap. But when we add E to the word, here we have longer vowels or longer sound, like tape, tape. So after listening and to pronounce these words, just to have more understanding of it, now we can complete the following. So here, for example, with the short sound, here we can add the letter A. So here we have the word cab, cab. But sometimes with other words, we can, if we added A and E to the words, in this case we will have longer sounds. For example, here if we added A and E to the word, then how do you think we can say this word? Perfect. We can say cake, cake. You see how when we added E, we have longer sounds? The same goes here with I and IE. The words we have with I, like pen, pen. And when we added E to the words, we have word like pine, pine. So pen, short sound, pine, longer sound, pine. And we can write it as well. We can, for example, add E here, and we will have a short sound. Pen, gem, pen, gem, short sound. But also with, if we added I and E to the other word, then we will have longer sound. Pine, nine, pine, nine. So be careful when you add E to each of these vowels. You must have a longer sound than the vowels only. So the last thing we will do today is that we're going to listen to the sound. We're going to circle the sound with the right word, and then we're going to match it. So let's listen to number one. The first sound we have with number one is white. White. So what do you think? Where is white? Is it the first, the second, or the third word? It is, of course, the first one. So here we circle the word white. Here we circle the word white. So from these two pictures, where is the picture that represents the word white? It is, of course, the second one. So here we match number one with this picture. We match number one with this picture. Now let's listen to number two. The word we have with number two is hat. Hat. So what do you think? Where is the word hat? It is, of course, the one in the middle. So here we go. We circle it and we match it to the word. We match it to the picture. We match the word hat to the picture. Now let's do number 3 and 4. Let's listen to the word with number 3. The word with number 3 is vase. Vase, which is the third one. So here we circle it, and where is the vase? It is, of course, right here. So here we go, we match it to the word. Now what about number 4? Let's listen to number 4. The word is rice. Rice. So here we circle the word rice and we match it to the picture. We match it here to the picture. So here you go. This is how we answered the second exercise. So it is important at the end that you are able to recognize and say words with A and AE and also I and IE. So now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.